Body image. Seems like we always come back to that no matter what we do, no matter how far we go, no matter how many pounds we go up, go down, whatever. We always come back to body image. And body image basically is what we think of how we look like, right? Our perception of our own bodies. So that's the topic for this week. This is the Proof Weight Loss Surgery Works channel. My name is Jane, Miss Janie here. Welcome to Saturday. Looking in the mirror. Wow, what do I see when I look in the mirror? I would have to say it all depends on what day is it, what mood I woke up in, what I'm going to do that day, who I'm going to see. It's a bunch of variables, and it changes. It changes from day to day. In general, when I look at myself in the mirror with clothes, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay with the way that I look as a human being. Now, I will have to say that it's still, even now, 2 years later, hard for me to look in the mirror and realize that that person that I'm viewing is me. I still have, it's just a little difficult sometimes, to recognize myself. But it's all right. It's all right. It's just exterior, right? It's just the exterior. And without clothes, well, I've already told you how I felt about that last year in my body image video, and my opinion hasn't changed there. It hasn't changed. My body is, it tells a story, and for the most part, I'm glad. I'm proud of that story. Do I wish that I could improve on things? Yes, I do. Of course I have days of, insecurity. There's days where, you wish that you looked better, but, there's consequences to our actions, and, if my consequences are, some loose skin, well, those are my consequences. It could be worse. And it's not like there's not a remedy, for any problems that I have, So I try not to worry so much about that part, because in the end, as much as we take care of our body, as much as we do the best we can to be healthy, to be fit, we're all getting older, and so all I can say is that I'm going to make the best of what I have right now. I make the best with what I have, and I'm going to be trying to improve. I hope every year I improve, but I also recognize that, I am getting older, and, I guess for being my age, and I'm going to be 43 years old in a couple weeks, I think I'm doing okay. I'm all right. Do I like it? Do I hate it? Do I like it? Do I hate it? Well, I guess overall I like it. It amazes me. Like, there's like certain things that just amaze me. Like the fact that I could put my hand around my wrist. That's amazing to me. That I could look at my pants when I'm folding them when I'm doing laundry, and they're a size 6, and they're like so teeny tiny that when I look at them, it's hard for me to believe that this little thing I can actually slip on, and the fact that I don't worry so much about walking between chairs or sitting in a booth or scooting between two people, it's not that big of a deal anymore. Well, obviously there's a lot of changes since I've had weight loss surgery. I weighed at my highest somewhere 285 and upwards. I'm in the 140s now. So spatially, it's just changed. I also see that, we can see our bones in our collars. We can see the bones in our hands and our feet, our cheekbones. The narrowing of the face. The slimness of the neck. Of course, there's a lot of changes, and I think the thing and the reason why we always come back to body image, it's not just about how we view ourselves, but how we perceive others view us. What we think about other people looking at us. Yeah, we can say and look in the mirror and think, oh man, I wish that I looked like this, or I wish that I looked like that. But I think most of us are pretty proud of where we're at. And I think that when we have doubts, the doubts about our body, it's not usually about how we look at ourselves in the mirror, or how we're looking at ourselves. I think that lots of times the doubts that we have is how we think other people are going to see us. I think you wonder, if you're intimate with a person, what's going to be their reaction to your body. When we're overweight, we worry about what our body looks like, the feel of our body, the weight of our body, the fact that we lumber, that we're cumbersome, that we're kind of awkward in our movements. And then when we lose weight, yes, our bodies are more supple, we're more flexible, but there is that trade-off. Yes, we don't weigh as much, we don't take as much space, but when we've been morbidly obese, it leaves a mark on our bodies. And I have to admit that there are times that there's a little I don't know, a little worry about what your partner is going to think about your body, feeling feeling maybe the looseness of that. And so you can't help but have a little bit of insecurities about that. But I guess in the big picture, it's not about our intimacy is never going to really be in the big picture about what our bodies look like. It's the sharing of the body. It's the sharing of the body that counts, and that's something that we probably need to, keep in the forefront and remember that it's not, yes, obviously it would be great to have a perfect body, a youthful body, but in the end, as long as we have a healthy body, that we're working hard to be fit, and that we love our partner, and we want to express our love by sharing our body, then those things will fit into place. So body image, yeah, it's a heavy subject, and I think that it's something that we'll always be revisiting. It's always going to be something that's going to be in the forefront, because in the end, that's what people see, right? When somebody first sees us, it is our body that they see, and that makes the subject an important subject. But what matters more is how we feel about ourselves, being comfortable with ourselves, loving ourselves, and just being glad that that we've come as far as we have. We've come a long way, baby. We've come a long way.